Renata here, and this is Watch and Learn. We watch films and
teach English. Brew cuppa. We're about to start.
Hello, Watch and Learners. This is Arthur and Christina here again
hi everyone.
with some crazy shit. I'm sorry, but that's true, right?
Yes.
So today we are going to discuss our most favorite, or not, director and his latest crazy movie. We're talking about Yorgos Lanthimos.
Yes.
Let's just dive in.
Absolutely.
So, how did that happen for you?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Yes. I think my first movie was The Lobster, and I immediately liked it, and it was like a very strange feeling because it was a really strange movie that I watched. And I think the thing that impressed me most about it was that the actors were behaving so awkwardly and so strangely, and so like, so you're watching something, there's a story, there's a plot, there are some things happening, you see some views, places, and so on, but the people, why are they so strange, like with capital letters? And this caught my attention immediately. This was the main thing that kind of made me not even the. It's interesting that one of my friends, I think, had the situation that they were spoiled the main twist of Lobster, according to them. So they were like, okay, my something like boyfriend or something or whatever just spoiled to me the main twist. I was surprised. I was like, but what is the main twist according to you? What is it that was spoiled and that, you know, just made you didn't want to watch the movie after that? For me, the whole movie is something that you can't spoil to anyone if they haven't watched it. You're going to say, okay, people acting strangely, strange story, strange things happening, just a very unusual, crazy, kind of unimaginable, whatever, yeah? And you're like, okay, you can't tell this, yeah? You have to watch it. Just watch it and then we discuss, yeah? And it doesn't matter the twist, some detail, some part of it, some fact about it. It's just, you can't really be spoiled before watching. That's my idea. So how was it for you? What do you think?
I don't remember. I remember that was sort of like somebody told me about that. Probably it was you, but I'm not sure at this point, honestly. Maybe it was the memes. I don't know. But I learned about him from somewhere. I learned about this sort of like a weird movies. And at that point, it wasn't my first rodeo, like watching something like this. I was like, okay, let's try. And exactly, The Lobster was the first movie for me too. And at this point, I want to say in general that I think this is how, like, this is the movie Yorgos gained his worldwide popularity, I think, through. Because if you look at his filmography, this is his first English language movie with Hollywood tier stars, yeah, like Rachel Weisz and Colin and, you know, like all these people. Before that, though, at that point he had already an Oscar, by the way, for his third movie, but it was in the category of foreign language movie, like it was Greek. Yeah, so Yorgos is Greek, and this is very important, by the way, to know. And Yeah, he got an Oscar for his. I don't remember the name though, and I never watched like so. I want to, but I never watched his first movies.
Yeah, me neither.
And there are like there are a lot of like Greek movies. By the way, Lobster was his. I want to say sixth, but I'm not sure. Probably fifth movie. So he started his career as a director in 2001, and Lobsters 2015. So, and I at that point binged his films. It was The Lobster, then it was The Killing of the Sacred Deer.
Yes.
I don't remember there was something else after this for me. I mean,
Favorite?
maybe The Favorite, but I think that I watched Favorite when I even didn't know about Yorgos as I know about him.
So it was separate for
now.
you.
It was separate, and just in general, like this movie in his filmography feels like a project rather than just like probably he was hired or something. I don't know. I didn't check because it's different. It's completely different. It's just a regular historical drama with a little bit of a kind of a craziness there,
Yes.
but
I agree.
not that much. But this is the first one with Emma Stone, which would work very well later, right? And I mean, I loved him and I hated him at the same
Oh,
time.
yes, I understand.
We joked about that a lot. Yeah, we joked that we probably shouldn't say to people that we love his movies.
Yes.
You know, that-
Maybe to those who haven't watched anything, who don't know him.
yeah, you know, yeah. Who would just you would just drop his name and they would like try something to watch something by him by their choice, and that would be probably like something fresh, and that would be The Poor Things. They would watch the movie, and you will be never friends again. So
Sounds like a plan.
sounds like a plan, really. This is why, like, I talked about him to some of my students, and I was like, okay, so if you really want to dive into this, I'm gonna write a plan for you. It's almost chronological, but yeah, like I used to have this sort of a like a smooth way to get into his like except his Greek movies because I haven't watched them, but The Favorite is the first one, of course. Sort of just kind of, you know, to prepare at least for the cinematography is pretty much the same. Yeah, you know. But then the leap from The Favorite to the next one, I don't remember what was the next one. The Lobster probably is pretty huge. It's like from Earth to Moon. You know? So, and yeah, I like him. He's a great auteur, I want to say, and we don't have many directors like this nowadays. Or I mean, so that they're like this unique, but at the same time this popular and acknowledged and recognized by the masses, because yeah, of course we have a lot of people, but you know, it's just they're usually unknown. And I would say sorry, but I would say that for me there are three people like this, right? At the moment it's Yorgos, Ari Aster, and Robert Eggers. They're like different. Eggers, it's this Nosferatu guy.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
I'm still meaning to. I'm still planning to watch some of his movies. I have them
Yeah.
on my watch list.
Yeah. Not the place, not the time. Nosferatu is not his best work, but okay. It's for another book, probably at some point. So, yeah, I really appreciate his existence and that he's creating things. And
So, what is it that you like about his movies? What are some things? Why is there some answer to this?
because he's different. I'm gonna put it simple, because he's different. I mean, with our experience of watching a lot of different stuff, I think at some point you just watch the movies and you're like,
Same.
I know how that's
Yeah.
gonna end, or at least you sort of predict certain like twists or just decisions, because well, being well watched, it's not a joke. It does a toll on you
Yeah.
in terms of that, like it kind of slowly drain the magic, the magic of movies.
Yeah, you
From
struggle really hard to find something really fresh, something that's unpredictable, unexpected.
And Yorgos with his movies does a perfect job, like in these aspects that like you never know what to expect. You like just down to every word. You cannot just
Yeah,
even predict. Yeah,
absolutely.
maybe if there were like 100 Yorgos movies, because they're pretty consistent, like in terms of what kind of tools he uses, and there are some common things. Uh, but but they're not like they're literally like I don't know 12 movies. I'm not sure. I didn't count. So yeah, you still get this sense of it's curious to watch his
Yeah, definitely.
stories. Yeah.
Agree. But we chose one particular story for today. Why did we choose this movie?
Well, first of all, because it's the latest one, I think.
Okay.
And I don't know, from my side, I would say that I wanted to ask you what is your favorite project, actually?
Ooh, it's very hard to say. I will not choose a favorite one.
Okay.
I will not choose the favorite.
Okay. I will. I mean, they're pretty much just on the same shelf for me, but just more or less. It's just some projects for me are a bit bigger. They're on the same shelf, but some of them are bigger. And today we're discussing Kinds of Kindness. Yeah, his latest film, and for me, it's so far it's the most favorite project. This, well, I maybe should talk about it later. So yeah, that's why. I don't know. Why did you agree?
Um, when you suggested discussing Yorgos and this movie, I was like, why haven't I thought about it? Why haven't we done anything yet? Why haven't we had a discussion yet? So yeah, it's obvious that you have to discuss him. I can't choose also a favorite. One of the other reasons is because I haven't watched his like earlier movies. This is something I still want to do, and I think maybe that will somehow affect my choice. But also it's again the answering the question, which movie is your favorite? Yeah, you find it hard to answer, and you normally can say, okay, I have several directors I like, yeah, and that's much easier. Well, this is a great movie, truly. And after watching it for the second time, after rewatching it for the spot, I've realized I've had more insights, more thoughts, more ideas. And this is amazing. I feel this is one of the movies you can rewatch and have new experiences each time and new ideas, new thoughts. Maybe you yourself have experienced something in your life that you can now apply to the movie, or maybe you can now see in the movie. So I think you can rewatch it 10 years later. Maybe, I don't know, yeah, and find something new.
True. Honestly, I had been procrastinating to rewatch this one before I finally watched that yesterday,
Yeah.
and I do not regret because when I watched it for the first time, I was like, "What a crazy show! I
Yes,
love that."
absolutely.
And we discussed that. Oh yeah, like we found some meanings. At this point, I wouldn't say that they were very deep, honestly. But
Agree.
yeah, like this is something like even after I don't know how it was released last summer, I believe, something like that. Yeah, because the Poor
Yeah.
Things was last winter, and then last summer was Kinds of Kindness.
Right.
So it's been a year. Yeah, because we watched that as soon as it was digitally available.
Right, and we had a discussion. We discussed it, and we were looking forward to it.
Yeah, like also a very rare occasion. Yeah, like when we it was like yeah, as soon as We watched that, we discussed that. And it was like a very, very fresh toddler level impression.
I think
And it's been a
my
year, and
expectations
it's
were crazy about it.
also that, same for me. And now I think, after second session, like that's a great story, and that is very deep. I told you before that I did my own research for the first time ever of like watching movies. I was like, let's
Wow.
actually like go into the internet
Okay.
and like I have this idea. Let's find for some like, am I insane, or or that's actually true kind of a research. I didn't just like, let's just read what other people said and I would agree or disagree, right?
Nice. Okay.
No, I was like, this is what I'm feeling, let's try. And I'm like this kind of a guy from the meme, I believe It's Always Sunny in Florida show. And there's this guy, like behind him, there's this wall of papers with like a red thread, and he's like, hear me out.
Yes.
So that's why I want to ask you first. So, kinds of kindness. Whatever you think. Like, what's the general idea? What do you think this movie is about? What did you take away from that? Like, what's your overall experience with this
Okay.
piece?
Well, cool that you've done the research, so we kind of have some answers, so we can discuss our ideas and feelings, and then we have some like some answer, more or less something you found. Cool, nice, I like that. Sometimes it's a bit annoying not to have any answer. Like there's no correct answer. Very annoying sometimes. Overall, in general, the movie, I struggle to connect it all together because the three stories are different. But if I had to, I would say something like it's about different kinds of relationships in different contexts, situations, and how these I don't know, for me, kinds of kindness, it's like irony, it's like maybe very heavy sarcasm. Because like it's kinds of unkindness. What happens, which kinds of unkindness happen to people in different situations? What do you think?
Is that all what you want to say? I just don't want to sort of influence your, or I don't know, or if you like, if you're ready for this, I can.
Well, I'm just saying about the overall impressions. Maybe I should comment a bit on every story, and then you can.
No,
say
actually,
your
no.
part.
I can try. I can try. Yeah, like I still remember. First of all, I think I'm a sucker for anthological structures. I'm a big fan of anthology shows. Or at least something that is like very close to being an anthology, like for example shows in which every season is about like a different story, or this anthological shows like Black Mirror, like when every episode is different. And to see a film like this, it's that was interesting for me. Because it really motivates you to like, okay, so the stories they're just randomly, they're connected somehow. So you are like motivated to look for this connection, especially in case of this film that you have same actors portraying like different characters. They have different screen time, like in different stories.
Yeah. Somewhere it's the main
And-
role, somewhere it's
Yeah, so you're like, it's also, there's something in there. And I guess this is why, like, this time after the second session, I was like, I need to get to it. I mean, I need to dig a big hole and pit, whatever,
Okay.
shithole, and find this treasure. And this movie is deep, actually. And what I like about it, and I just like when movies are this. What I mean by this is they're personal. That they're very personal. Um, and this one is not an exception. So, yeah. Again, so we've discussed the feelings. So, again, the meanings. Like, again, some lessons, messages. What did you get from all this craziness? You can get specific, like, with, with this, like, stories there. And,
Okay, okay. Maybe shall I do all three like at once, or maybe one by one, just in the chronological order as they appear in the movie?
whatever you feel
Oh,
like.
okay.
Yeah, you can share your ideas about all of them first.
Okay. Well, the first one, it's not my favorite one. Maybe it's not the one that moved me most, but it's still like very thought provoking. How I see it, it's like the story of, well, I had different ideas. Like it can be about your relationship at work, or it can be about your relationship with just someone who wants to, about a manipulative, abusive relationship, something like that. For me, this was like about choice, and about freedom, and about shortly in this story, we have this guy who is given instructions from his, either it's boss or someone else. We don't really know, or we do, but it doesn't matter. So he's given instructions.
Like a patron.
On
something
like
that.
literally everything, starting from what he eats, how often he has sex, what he wears, everything in his life, which kind of beverage he takes in a bar. And at some point this gets too much. He asks him to kill someone, and he can't do this, and this is when everything breaks and stops, because he can't do this. So, well, this is a very, very interesting take on choice. When people think, especially people who, I have this idea that people who don't have so much choice, who are kind of forced to have this limited choice in their life, they think they are limited, they feel it, and they feel that they are kind of abused by it. They struggle, they're like, oh, I only wish I had unlimited choice and freedom to choose whatever I want, live wherever I want, buy whatever, and so on. And then when they are given this choice, they realize that they can't make it. They stand in front of 10 different varieties of ketchup, or apple juice, or I don't know, washing detergent, and they're like, what should I choose? Just tell me. So he goes to this bartender and he's like, what do you recommend? Like wine. Just tell me, what should I drink? And this is, for me, this is so strong, and it's a huge question for myself. If I had the choice, if I had this unlimited freedom, what would I do? Would I be able to choose what I want? So this is a question of, do you know what you want, really? Are you doing something because you want it and you know it's your choice, or it's because it's imposed, someone chose it for you, and how do you feel about it? Are you happy that someone did it and you don't have to choose? Or you seek this freedom. So it's a question for me that I believe can be unanswered, and you just live trying to find this answer. But this is so deep for me. What do you think? What have you found? Tell me.
Well, if I start like a part, by part. Okay, so first of all, I agree. I agree. I had the same ideas about this part. It is there. It's just maybe. You know how like there's this joke and like about psychology sessions that like everything boils down to your mom.
Uh-huh.
So it feels like sometimes, no, it's not sometimes really. Like in cinematography, especially with some deep projects like this, uh, all the time everything boils down to religion.
Uh-huh.
So at some point I did this mistake with Darren Aronofsky Mother when I watched the movie and I was like, I do know what it is about, but I just can't wrap my head around that. And I just Googled, and when I Googled, it's like, why did I just Google and didn't just think for 5 minutes more?
Uh-huh. Yes.
I did not do this mistake this time. And I did think for 5 minutes more. But honestly, it's mostly because of the third story that we will discuss a bit later that I got motivated to look into this. So, okay, let's do this part by part. So, the whole movie, it's a reference to certain religious, I'm not even sure, like aspects, topics. I'm not sure how to say that specifically because they're very different. So, what has happened in the first one is that we're talking about a redemption story. So, Jesse Plemons' character, I don't remember the name though, he's a person. And Willem Defoe's character, Raymond, I believe, he's God. So Jesse was pretty much serving the God, like doing whatever the God wished, for. And just at some point, God asked for something that, Jesse's character was not able to do, but then did eventually, right?
Yes.
To like redempt. Yeah, the verb is to redeem himself. Redeem. Sorry. To redeem himself, and we have something like that in the Bible.
Yeah.
Like before that, I highlighted that Yorgos is Greek, and that's important.
Yeah.
Why? Because Greece is a Christian country. So we have such a story in Bible when God asked Abraham to kill his son Isaac, and I believe Abraham couldn't do this first, but then he did it that anyway. I don't know. Like I'm not gonna be lying to you. I didn't read the Bible. But here we go. So this is about redemption, like a biblical redemption story. But what you said, like what you got first, I had the same feelings and ideas, like after the second session, because I think it's such a universal kind of story that you can apply a lot of different things here. You can talk about, like as you said, choice. I love this idea. I didn't think exactly about this, but I love this idea about the dilemma of having an unlimited choice. We can apply this idea to even corporate culture. Like when, just not to go too far, when like bosses are very manipulative people, they manipulate their employees into absolutely, people with no will and, do whatever they want, abuse them in any way they want them to be abused. Or we can talk a little bit more generally and just sort of like if Raymond here is /God / I don't know, an abusive boss, it could represent market, and Jesse is like a customer, and like we're abused by economy, by the market, I don't know, business, and all this kind of stuff. So many things are actually applied. You can watch the film and just choose whatever fits best for you and be happy about it.
No, actually, the religion part fits pretty well still with the idea of will and choice and all this.
True.
Because in religion they also talk that there is some things you do, you can do, you have to do, and so on, but you also have free will. Like you can say no and then get some result from it, yeah, and stuff like that. So no, I think all the interpretations can fit, yeah, including what you said about bosses.
It's
and
just
so on.
the third story is kind of like religious on the surface, and I was like, well, since all the stories should be connected, definitely should be connected, maybe like this is the thing. But we'll get to that later.
Okay.
So what was your idea about the second one?
Wow, I think this and the second and the third, they compete for being my favorite from these three. So maybe the second is more, I don't know, personal for me, you can say.
Okay.
So here we have the story of again another relationship, again abusive. There's this guy whose wife was lost somewhere on an island or something due to some crash, and then she's found, and the guy thinks that it's not her, that it's actually someone else. Yeah.
Like a double gainer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he starts asking her to do strange stuff, crazy stuff, to prove that she's not what she is. Here, my thoughts, my feelings were about like you have this relationship, you have a partnership, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, doesn't matter, yeah? And one of the partners is trying to like tell the other what they should do. You don't look like you're supposed to, in my point of view, yeah? You shouldn't eat chocolate because you don't like it. You should wear this size of shoes, whatever. You should do this. And because I think that's what that's according to the ideal image of my wife in my own head, yeah? So whenever you are acting strangely not according to my image, yeah, of you, I'm gonna say that you're not my wife, you're not real, you're not yeah, you're pretending to be my partner, the one, and things like that. So, and we see this other part, yeah, this other person in the relationship who's literally like just killing herself, obeying these orders, like totally destroying herself, to make this guy happy, to prove that he's right. That's crazy. Yeah, that's my take. That's what I got from it.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I felt. This is what I like. This idea can be relatable yeah, to a lot of people because pretty much what you see, these abusive relationships with a tyrant husband, and happens to a lot of people, and vice versa as well, with like tyrant wives and everything. But again, like keeping in mind what I have already said, what do you think it's like from the religious point of view?
The religious point of view.
What do you think that could be? So we have this person who's like in unconditional love to somebody, but they're ready to sacrifice themselves.
Now she's someone who believes, and he's God asking her to, or no, I don't.
Could be that. Could be interpreted like this. Yeah, but there's like concrete characters here like going on.
Okay, tell me.
Emma Stone's character is Jesus Christ.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
And she's unconditionally loved only after she died. So it's pretty much repeating the Bible story, you know. So there was this like dude, he was like, I don't know, preaching all the good stuff, but the people were found which were not happy to have such a person, right? And they killed him, but after his death, her death, they get like all this cult level love, and you know, this is why in the final scene, first it kind of confused me. What we have in the final scene, for those who haven't watched the movie yet, we have Emma Stone's character being visible, like dead in the frame, but at the same time she's sort of like knocking on the door, and we see her alive at the same time, hugging with her husband there, but like by the story and everything. Why? Because like we have this like Jesus Christ body and his resurrected spirit, and now she's like / his perfect,
she's finally
in the eyes
perfect.
of the husband / people, and that's why like all this bloody aspects of the story, again, I mean, I think that would be too obvious to actually show the same wounds, like a spear in the heart and crucifixion, of course. So we're sort of like, he was just playing at this point. I think it's not even that important what she was doing there. Or maybe I'm not sure if there is this phrase in English. I think it should be that, you know, give them one finger, they will bite off your arm, kind of a situation. So we could, they were maybe playing with that. Like she cut her finger first, but then he asked for the liver, which is also like a liver. Again, he's Greek, so but this is the idea that I just realized, that there's this mythos, right, about this guy who got punished through being on the like chained to a rock, and some eagle would like bit by bit, like Prometheus.
I believe the liver is still. I'm just trying to find right now that it's.
Well, it was like the eagle would bite him. He would heal again, and like he would bite him, and it would heal again. It was like a never-ending. I mean, he was freed by someone eventually in this story, but again, like liver, it's not there just for, just because, but maybe this sort of a reference.
Okay.
To his.
Yeah, because there was also this moment where they put a blade or a spear in the somewhere like under the ribs of Jesus to check that he's died. So there was this moment.
Okay.
So maybe that's connected. That's somewhere where the liver is, right? Maybe. Anyway.
Under your ribs, somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere there. Yeah.
In your right side.
Yeah. But anyway, I agree with both ideas, and it makes sense that liver. Yeah, obviously that's some reference to Prometheus. I agree. It makes sense.
And also at some point while watching this part, I had a tint of unexpected feelings. I was like, what if the victim is the husband, actually? And but I mean, it's very far-fetched, but I think if you sort of, and I didn't go deep enough with that because of this like a religious aspect, realization there, but you could think of something like, what if she was really different? What if it's like some kind of a gaslighting situation, but from the wife's part?
Look, this is interesting, and I thought about it before I rewatched. I thought about it when I was telling someone about this movie, like recommending it to someone. And I was retelling this particular part, And my point there was that the guy was so abused by this relationship, by his wife, that at some point he's having like this derealization kind of situation, that he doesn't even like, he's gone absolutely mad, and he doesn't recognize his wife, so he thinks it's another person. And I think at that time my point was that it's a result of this manipulative relationship where he is the victim, and he gets so gaslighted, so much abused, that he's lost this sense of reality. He's like, you're not my wife anymore. Yeah, because he's been so much abused in the relationship. But somehow it felt different on the second watching. I don't know, maybe you can choose either interpretations.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I mean, of course, there's always like something that Yorgos actually meant, but it's not mathematics. I mean, you can look at that and just take away something different. Why not? I mean, this is what art for, so that we feel and
Absolutely.
we think and we maybe, just take some lessons away from that, or messages, or reflect on some our own experiences. So yeah, like, who said that there should be connected whatsoever? So but I had that, I was like, what if like he's actually right? But I was maybe tilting to more like a sci-fi kind of versions,
That she's
since
an
I'm more like a
alien or
sci-fi,
something. Yeah.
an alien, like a cloning kind of a situation and everything.
I agree. It looked like that. She was so strange, so weird. Yeah.
Yeah. But of course, yeah, I mean, there is more proof that, like, yeah. I was also thinking that, like, maybe it's sort of a representation of the situation. Yeah, like, yeah, people are in a relationship, but even though there is this standard saying that people don't change, but people do sometimes, maybe even more often than you think. But like, Jesse Plemons' character, he was in love with one person, but then she changed. She went through a traumatic experience. Traumatic experience always change people. For example, this chocolate cake, yeah, she used to hate chocolate, but then she actually tells the story that on that island that she was, what's the word, stranded on, at some point there was only chocolate to eat. So she changed her mind, kind of, yeah, and this is the only thing that she wanted to eat after being saved, yeah.
That's an amazing point, that sometimes your close ones are not ready to accept the person who changed after a traumatic experience. They're just like, well, now you like chocolate and I don't like you. Yeah, because of that.
Yeah, but in real life it could be absolutely
Of course.
anything. Yeah,
No, I
like,
mean, it's not.
yeah. And if we look at this version, then what we got in the story, that, well, husband sort of won. Yeah, like, if we look at this, yeah, like, he broke her to return to sort of her default
Yeah.
state, I don't know, of mind, and she's the one, as it's implied by the ending. Yeah. Not my most favorite though, but the next one is. The next one,
also a very deep, strong part. So there's this cult, and a very strange one. Aren't they all? Yeah, I mean.
They're all strange. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
if this one actually existed, I was like, that's boring. Have you seen those guys?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't be surprised, but also, okay, we have a cult and we have a person who's being told.
They're practitioners, yeah, like they're like they're in the cult, and
Yeah.
you're talking about Emma Stone's character,
Yeah.
right?
I'm
So they're like members of the cult, but probably like right hands of the leaders. Yeah, as the leaders, we have this a couple,
Yeah.
which are, yeah, like preachers in this cult or something. But and then Jesse's and Emma's characters, they're sort of like they're given a very responsible task to find pretty much a messiah. I don't even have to hide anymore that's because it's just there, right? A messiah, a person who's able to heal people.
The most kind of moving, I don't know, thought-provoking part for me is when, well, there's a point about this cult is that the participants here, the people who are in it, can't have intercourse with anyone else from outside the cult. And Emma Stone's character at some point, who we know that from other stories of cults, that people are not allowed to communicate with their close ones, maybe with other people outside, sometimes with their family. Sometimes they aren't allowed even to text, to call them, to see them. But she's secretly...
Hello to all the Scientologists.
Crazy stuff. She has a family outside of the cult, and she's secretly meeting with them. And at some point, she is abused, assaulted by her ex-husband or her actual husband.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
Anyway, the people in the cult, inside the cult, are not allowed to have any intercourse and will be like gotten rid of. Will be, they have to leave. The problem here is that. She has become a victim of something that she didn't consent for. She didn't agree for this. She's absolutely the victim, and it's not her fault. She's not guilty. But she gets the consequences. She is thrown away from the cult. And she's trying super hard to get back. So she goes through some stuff. For me, this is like a very important point. There are so many times when people are blamed, are victimized for something they are not guilty in. Like, she was not able to do anything about it. It just happened to her. Yeah, anything can happen to anyone. This kind of situation, something bad. But it was her choice. She was thrown out of the cult. It was her kind of fault. Yeah. And this is crazy.
Great insight. Yeah, I didn't think about that. I mean, in their eyes, yeah, sure. I mean, like, even if they sort of, okay, yeah, we know that you've been raped, yeah, pretty much, but you did choose to go to see that man, yeah, like, but you are not supposed to. Yeah, like, I would even imagine the situation that they would first of all blame her for even just contacting them, like not even the like what actually happened. But yeah, that could be that just not a reference, too weak of a word, but again, like an image of a cult which like still relevant to this world.
Well, it can be just the metaphor for our community and society, for people being excluded, for having some story, some situation, some accident where they were not guilty, but they are blamed and they are excluded from some
shame,
yeah.
And true. So. And I think we even have a lot of movies about that. So yeah, it's a problem. From the religious point of view, I think everything's kind of on the surface there. That we're like the main topic. So what I didn't say about the previous one, about the second one. So the first one, it's like a redemption story. The second one is a manipulation story. Like, even if you look at at this Christ angle from the Jesus Christ angle, it's still a manipulation. Yeah, like people manipulated their Messiah, and pretty much that he was like ready to sacrifice himself for their sins. Yeah, and this one is faith, just about blind faith into something and Holy Spirit. Yeah, like Margaret Qualley's character there, the biggest part for her in this movie overall.
Wait, redemption, manipulation,
Relation,
faith?
and this is
That's
what I
an
was leading you to.
interesting choice of
Yeah.
words. No.
We'll get into it.
Okay.
We'll get into it. So, Holy Spirit, we even have this scene there when, closer to the end, when Emma's character kidnaps, this veterinarian. And then there's a scene when she puts her in a veterinarian clinic, I believe, She puts her in this like a weight or something. And then it's like a lifting scales, not weight, sorry, lifting scales. And there's this like a shot from a specific angle that we see that her body is rising up. So it's like this spirit, soul, call it whatever you want, rising up to heavens, whatever. So yeah, and how people who think that they're actually righteous, that they're righteous, actually are not righteous, that they're sinful, and how their sins actually play a cruel joke on them. Yeah, like they were looking for a Messiah, and thinking that they're righteous and that they're doing the right thing, but their actions actually lead to the death of a Messiah.
Right.
At the end. So it's sort of a like a karma is a bitch kind of a situation, yeah? Because I'm pretty sure, I mean, we don't get this kind of information there, but I'm pretty sure that all this like other members and the leaders, they're not that far from, they're actually far from being righteous. And all of this sort of manipulation, cult level manipulation that is going on inside their community is inflicted only on the members, but not on the leaders. And the leaders, they're just believe us, we're perfect, kind
Right.
of. Like, and you're gonna drink only our tears.
Yes,
also.
yes.
And we're gonna fuck all together, but only in the community, inside the community.
How we decided,
How we decided, yeah. And they they wanted to fuck the Messiah also. So, or it also can be sort of like how you're like on the way to strive for something that maybe you shouldn't strive for. You can find yourself in a critical situation. So what I'm talking about is like eventually, Emma's character gets into a car crash, which leads to the death of this veterinarian Messiah. Margaret Qualley's character. And she Emma Stone's character is alive, but she's fucked as a member. Like she lost her ticket back,
Her only chance to get back.
and then
to
she's
the soul.
broken, and she cannot go back to her family because of this rape situation, and so she's lost at this point.
Yeah.
So, juicy part, yeah. This is what I was manipulating you here.
Okay, well done.
But just not to be a jerk. I do not want to get credit for this, because on my journey to looking for the answers, this is the only part that I found that, and I even found that from the guy who also said that it was somewhere, somebody kind of. So there is someone who at some point, got into this idea that those very important letters RMF actually stand for something. They definitely stand for something. It doesn't look like a random choice of letters. So why are we even discussing this? Tell the listeners. What are these letters?
Well, it's what I guessed, but to be honest, while I was watching, this was the part that I was like, okay, this is some something, it means something, but it did not affect like any of my ideas, any of my understanding. I did see, apart from this character who appears in all of them, he has this kind of role, but well, I didn't understand, and I kind of felt that it was not so important to me. That's why I didn't search for this meaning, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be one of the things by Yorgos that I'm just gonna leave to him. Like, okay, do your thing. Yeah, you do you, and I'm just gonna accept. So that's why I didn't think about it. Yeah, because it seemed like some very complicated idea that I just couldn't guess.
It is hard. I mean, when all you get is just some very strange titles.
Yeah.
And a dude who plays very different roles in every story, but is still the same dude. Yeah, it's very strange. So we're like, I'm very grateful to that one person, whoever you are, wherever you are, you're cool. But what was my, like, before I learned that, what was my idea is that like all of the stories, they're still connected to manipulation and manipulation, yeah, like lack of will. Yeah. Like in all three stories we have characters like this, and RMF seemed like the only one who actually had freedom. Like in the first one, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna get some money and I'm gonna get killed. This is what I want. Yeah,
Okay.
it's highlighted there. Like it's his choice. Nobody manipulated him into this. I mean, like, you maybe think that money is sort of also like a manipulation. Yeah, maybe it's just so much money that, you know, but still, nobody asked him to do this. In the second one, I'm not sure how to connect the second one, and he's like briefly in the second one. He's the
He's the pilot of
he's the
the
pilot who
plane.
saves the wife. Yeah.
What I
So he's
didn't get that.
he's the hero. Yeah, he's like the hero in the story, sort of. Yeah, who saves the day. And in the last one, he is. He's like the same one from this first story. He's dead. He dies in the first part. He's dead, but then resurrected by this like veterinarian, like messiah. Yeah. Sue from Substance. So what I read, like, and again, freedom of action, like, he's resurrected, and like the first thing he does, he goes to some side road food kind of, you know, fast food cafe and eats a sandwich, and we actually see that like in the title, RMF eats a sandwich. So, and then we are again, our attention is drawn into his like abbreviation on his shirt chest pocket, with this abbreviation RMF covered in ketchup. So from the religious point of view, he was the key element in every story. In the first one, he was a sacrifice. The sacrifice is a means of, like, you know, of redeeming yourself. In the second one, it's like a heroic action which led to, again, this like death of Jesus Christ and something. At this point, I'm not that like aware of what exactly is going on. And the last one, again, is just obvious. He's like a, you know, like a proof of power to whatever. But again, he's just the only thing that I can say for sure is just he was the key. Without him, nothing like everything that you see in the story, okay, the most important parts of the stories, they wouldn't happen. So he was the key element, just the key element. Like maybe you can look at him as like again like another pawn in a universal whatever game.
While you're talking, I'm just thinking it could be a kind of, creative method that the director used to kind of, maybe he was trying um, to connect all these stories all together by adding some feature that appears everywhere, but is not explained, obviously. Yeah, it's not like it's the same character that appears everywhere. It's just this idea that appears everywhere and somehow connects and somehow is the, I don't know, the life, the soul of all these stories. But again, I'm not so good at understanding these creative things that directors, writers often do. So I'm like, okay, there's an RMF in every story. It should mean something. No idea what. Yeah. So, but I guess yes, you are right. But it can also be some unexplained, you know, little thing that he decided to, to fuck with our brains, to make fun of us watching his movies.
True, true. From the cinema's point of view, he's this kind of like a MacGuffin, yeah. For those who's not familiar with this term MacGuffin, in any movie there is one, at least one. Yeah, it's like an item, or it can be something what's the word? Unmaterialistic, yeah, not tangible, which goes through the story
Yes.
and means something, yeah, like what is it, Snatch in Harry Potter, or even better, this things that he was supposed to collect to kill Voldemort, or I don't know. For those who've seen, like in the movie Knives Out, there's a lot of MacGuffins, like a baseball or, bowl.
That's what I was thinking. Like a good director, a good author, a good creator should invent something like that and put it. Maybe he was making fun of the concept. Like a good writer should include this, but it has to mean something. I'm gonna include a random like something that people will, break their minds trying to understand what it is. Could have been this. I wouldn't be
True.
surprised.
We'll never know. Yorgos is one of those.
He
I'm
doesn't
saying that lovingly.
comment.
I'm saying that lovingly. Jerk director
Yes.
who never
Never
comments
explains.
on anything, even years
Perfect.
after. It's like, it's for you to decide.
I love that.
But we're still people and we strive for the truth, and yeah. But I'm happy with like what I've dug out and
Yeah,
what I've
absolutely.
found. It's and it also makes sense. I mean, this religious angle at the story makes sense because it's not the first time. Because before this, we've mentioned the killing of the sacred deer, which is also freely, loosely, but based on one of the Greek myths.
Yes.
Will not give you any names. You can. It's Googleable. You can find it. And he does this like again, Greece, Christian, Orthodox country, but in his movies it's like Greek culture is mixed with a worldwide religious practice, because we not just like, I've mostly said like Jesus Christ, Father, Holy Spirit, but there's also some references to specifically Greek lore. Yeah, for example, there's a lot, like, guys, at this point it's just impossible to discuss everything. There's so many little details I can't even. But for example, in the third story we have these twins, right? First,
Yes.
both portrayed by Margaret Qualley, and for like, so that everything works in the story, will not give you any details. One of the twins should be dead. So she sacrifices herself so that her twin sister with like the superpowers gets her attention. I'm not sure. Yeah, becomes a messiah for this cult. And very similar story happened in the Greek, in one of the Greek myths, which was about twin brothers from the same mother but different fathers, I believe. One of them was from just a dude. I mean, his father was just a guy. But for the second one, I don't remember the names, and also the names are different in different cultures. So the second one was a Zeus son. So he was like so one was mortal, the other one was immortal. And what happens is that this mortal guy, he dies. I don't know what were they, probably war, I don't know. And the second guy sacrificed a half of his immortality to resurrect his brother. So if you look at this in a creative way, pretty much the same thing happens in this story.
Yeah.
So he does this, yeah. Like I think even in The Favorite, you maybe if you dig deep enough, you can find some references. His Greek background, yeah. Like he does that.
Well, I have to accept.
yeah.
I have to admit, it's quite a nice idea to use myths to. And then to try to interpret them in a modern, in a contemporary setting. It's something that you watch it and you feel this you get this feeling of recognition because you kind of know the main story, the main idea, but it's usually disguised as something else, modern world, yeah, with cell phones and AI and everything. But you still have this archetypical myth, yeah, and it's always very, very cool to find the story, to recognize it. I think that's what makes it, that's what art and cinema is about. Just using these old stories, reusing them, reinterpreting them.
True. I mean, well, it happens in every movie. To a certain extent, they're just repeating same
True.
scenarios.
Yeah.
The best example are superhero comic books and superhero movies, of course. They're pretty much just the same. Like Batman is Hades and Superman is like whatever, Zeus or whatever. So you have pretty much Prometheus. They have the same, because it works. It's been working for thousands of years. All this archetypes, the reference to real situations, real personalities, real type of people, real choices, problems, and everything. So that's why, like pretty much in all of the movies, there are this like at least something, a little bit of that. Otherwise, like imagine watching a movie and it's like completely something unrelatable is going on, like relationships that we don't really have, types of like character we don't really have in real life, settings which are, yeah. I mean, if you're not like right now thinking about, I mean, you listeners thinking about sci-fi or fantasy at this moment, this is not even what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm talking about something that cannot even be imaginable because nobody ever did that. Maybe in very bad movies, rather. So
It's gonna be difficult
it's
to
always there.
watch because you can't relate to anything, you don't understand what's happening. Even like we said that Yorgos is a strange director and things that are weird and awkward, but you still have this myth you recognize, you have this story that you recognize and you watch it, because if there was nothing to recognize, it would be impossible.
True. Even in the other movies, I'm not sure we're gonna discuss his other works. Just too much attention to one guy.
It's all
and at this
worth
point, I wouldn't like to rewatch anything. just something new. I'm down to it, but rewatching it like as enlightening that can be, emotionally and morally, sometimes it's
I think let's wait for the next movie and then we can revisit him again and see what's going on. Is it better or something like that?
He is getting better.
It's true, yeah.
But just not to give you wrong ideas, guys. What I think we both mean here, he is getting better at being him. Like he's more him. I just hope that he's not gonna. It's not like there's always a limit.
Yeah.
And there is another director. Just not to distract you, I will not mention him, but he's already overdoing himself. And I hope that guy's case, okay, whatever, he's already given us a lot of things, wonderful things. From Yorgos, I would like more. I just hope that he will not like cross the line when at this point it's like, that's too much.
I had this feeling when I was watching Kinds of Kindness for the first time. I was feeling a bit too much, but actually no.
Actually, no. This this project actually somehow feels even a bit easier because I think I'm gonna rewatch The Killing of the Sacred Deer or The Lobster at that point for the second time. Do research like the way I did. Yeah, I'm not gonna find anything. That's just very crazy stories.
Okay. Well, that was a super cool discussion. I now
Yeah, amazing. Well,
have much more food for thought. Yeah, so cool.
definitely. So watch the movie, but don't throw bricks at us if you. I don't know. It's I don't know. I completely forgot about disclaimers. Completely forgot about disclaimers. But it's better late than never. There are sex scenes in the movie. There's like this. Even aside from that, they're just not very. They're graphical scenes. So if you're a sensitive person, just I don't know, read about the story. It's still worth getting to know. Yeah,
Or maybe
learning.
just don't do what I did. I had actually 2 dates with 2 different people, and I invited these people to the cinema to watch Yorgos's movie. Don't do it, guys.
Don't. Yeah, just alone, morally prepared, and you will have only yourself to blame for this choice. But anyway, that's art. I mean,
Yeah.
art doesn't have to evoke only happiness and, you know, only positive emotions. That's art. That's true art for me.
Yes.
Like in our Telegram channel, by the way, join. The link is in description. I told someone, he's actually one of our colleagues. He asked us like, how do you define that this movie is true art? And what I said, like, if you watch it, you watch the movie, and then you say, you like question yourself, sort of. I like that, but what the fuck was that? So if you have this feeling, that's true cinematography for you there.
Amen. Guys, thank you so much for listening. And subscribe to our channel. Give us likes. Tell us what you think. Looking forward to your feedback. Thank you so much, Arthur. This was a great discussion.
Thank you too, and yeah, for all of you, be here next time, please.
See you soon. Bye bye.